Steve, according to Ferris here in the chat, the team with the third best yards per carry in the nation is in search of a running game.
Yeah, he made a comment there you put up there a second ago about do they even need a running game? And Henderson didn't have any 100-yard games last year. I think he had one close to 300 yards in one of the outings. So I don't know. Yeah, that was the comment. Yeah, you didn't run it very effectively against Oregon or Michigan, and lo and behold, you lost both those games. I know there were other mitigating factors on the defense as well, but yeah, I think you got to be able to do both in the Big Ten, particularly when the weather's bad. And not only that, if you're running the ball on first down and you get it to 2nd and 2, now you can do anything in the playbook, and that just really changes things. You wear down a defense by running at them play after play after play, and then that's when you can take your deep shots when they're worn out and those kind of things. So it's a 60-minute battle of attrition. And people just think it's a video game, and it's really not. These are actual human beings out there in those helmets and shoulder pads out there playing, and they wear down. It's kind of a crazy phenomenon, but if you lean on somebody for 3 quarters, they're gonna have a hard time answering the bell in the 4th quarter. So need to be able to do both if you want to really be as successful as you can possibly be coming out of the Big Ten.
I do think they need to be more forceful with the run. And the one thing Ryan Day always talks about is that the RPO that they do, they consider that all running, even though it ends up in a pass play, depending on what the defense does. So, it ends up a 17-yard gain to Jackson Smith and Jigba over the middle. They consider, they chalk that up to the run total or whatever in their minds. And so we don't, when we look at the stats and we see Ohio State rushing for 90 yards against Nebraska, or, only 166 against Maryland, but there may be 50 other yards that they would consider part of that running game. But I do still think you need to be able to get the 3rd and 2 that you shouldn't have to pass on all the short yardage stuff. And until you are able to pick that up consistently, you're going to have questions about the running game. And you can run away from it by throwing on those short yardages, but eventually it catches up with you. And, I'd say it caught up with them immediately against Oregon. They missed on a lot of their short yardage stuff. Catches up with them against Michigan as well when they couldn't run the ball, and keeps them in the game close against Nebraska when they couldn't run the ball. So, yeah, I think you now have the offensive line. Ryan Day wants guards at guards. He prefers guards at guards. So now you've got them. Let's see what happens. You've got a quarterback that everybody fears, so you can't just sell out to stop the run. So you've got some advantages all over the field. And we criticized the running game here a little bit, or talk about the flaws, but they were 3rd in the nation in yards per carry, as you said. What Luke Whippler said a week or so ago about that, about the criticism, he's like, people will, you do 99 things right. You do the 100th thing wrong, and people will just criticize you about the one thing you've done wrong, and they ignore everything else that you've done. And I think there is some of that. But when that one thing you do wrong is Michigan, you're going to get some blowback.
Yeah, you make a tremendous point there. This came up in I did a chat on Monday, and it kind of came up there. Like if the defense played great on Saturday in the scrimmage, which a lot of people think they played very well, what does that say about the offense? Are they going to be as good or whatever? And it's like, every positive raises a conversely negative question, it seems, with Ohio State football. So that 99-1 analogy is perfect, because the Ohio State fans are very vigilant. They watch this thing like a hawk, and they expect excellence. And if there is a perceived shortcoming, they're gonna ask about it, and they're true to form on that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. But I think as I said, you got to be proficient. When you want to run the ball, when you need to run the ball, when it's 5 minutes to go in the game and you need 2 first downs and you don't want to throw the ball because it could get picked off or could go incomplete and stop the clock. You need to be able to run the football. And Ohio State last year in some situations wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, with such a 4th down or 4 down mentality out of most offenses these days, to Tony's point, 3rd and 2, you shouldn't automatically be throwing the ball. For as old and outdated, and we like to make fun of the old Woody Hayes adage, there is a slice of truth to it still. There are bad things that can happen when you throw the ball. There has to be more coordination and success between offensive line, quarterback, and receiver, as opposed to just saying, here, big guy, go get us 2 yards behind these 5 behemoths that should be able to push the other guys, because that's why we recruited them. So you got to be able to do that. And it's still a physical game, regardless of rules changes and offensive approach changes that have altered the game. It's still a physical game, and the team that imposes its will is usually the better team and the team that's going to win. Travion, 17 for 74 against Michigan with a 28-yarder.
Not good enough.
18
Didn't get
for
much done.
82, I think, against Oregon, something like that.
12
I
for
think-
50 something.
I think they only netted 150 or 120 yards rushing against Oregon. They threw for over 400 or close to 500, maybe. I don't know.